What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I am Jess. You're watching Keto Rewind. Thank you for clicking on today's video. So I have a good video today. I've got lots of good things to talk about that relate to the past endeavor I've been on right now and why carnivore really helped my emotional eating. So we're gonna get to that. It's a week 167 update and a weigh-in. So did I gain or lose? So let's jump into today's video. Okay, so before I jump into all that, I'm not a healthcare expert. I'm not a healthcare professional. This is just my story on what has been working, what hasn't been working, and all of the ups and downs since I started my weight loss journey. I've been rewinding my health from a morbidly obese weight to a healthy weight now for over 3 years, and I've been doing everything in my power to figure this out and lose this weight once and for all. So if that sounds exciting or you want to hear more, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, or leave a comment, and that really helps get my videos seen. So anyways, with that said, let's talk about the week 167 update. Now, I have been doing carnivore for the past 4 weeks. I should say, let me say that differently. I've been doing ketovore, which like Monday through Friday I ate carnivore, and then Saturday and Sunday I did strict keto. So ketovore, I said that a little wrong. But you know what I'm saying. So for that, I've done that for the past 4 solid weeks. And man, what a change, what a game changer this decision was. So when I originally chose to try carnivore as a way to help my emotional eating, to quiet down the triggers, quiet down the urges to eat when I'm stressed, and you know, that whole just getting it back in line. When I originally decided to do this, I gave myself a 4 to 6 week window to do this so that I could really change my ways and give it enough time to work. So after the 4 weeks, I feel pretty good right now where I want to change back to just strict keto the whole time. And the reason for that is I had a game-changing or enlightenment this weekend with some stress that really helped seal the deal on this way of living. So, but in my honest opinion about carnivore, I think it's a fantastic way of living. For me, it's not something that I could commit to 100%, but it would absolutely be something that I would use to help with my recovery of emotional eating, stress eating, what do you call it? Like just the using food to comfort, you know, that kind of thing. But I do really want my vegetables too, so that's why I wouldn't really want to go 100% all in. But when I had, you know, tough times or I need to get recentered or refocused, carnivore for me is a tool to overcome my emotional eating, those emotional stressors, to basically give myself better coping habits, because when you take those stresses out of your head, you can think more clearly and make a better choice when something, you know, stressful or anxiety-wise happens. So, so that's why I'm saying, like, I am absolutely a fan of carnivore. It's just not something I want to make a lifestyle. But this will be something that I'm going to sprinkle in quite a bit, and especially until I get to my goal weight. So, but for right now, I'm feeling confident in my recovery. 4 solid weeks of hard work where I have been digging at this emotional part of the journey. I feel I'm in a good place. I'm just going to stick to strict keto. When I say strict keto, I mean, no, I'm very strict, like meat or protein, healthy fats, and good vegetables. You know, like I'm just really going to keep it simple and not overcomplicate it. You know, like a salad and protein, you know, a burger and roasted broccoli, like very simple, just the basics. I've heard it called no frills keto, strict keto, clean keto, whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to really limit, not avoid, limit like the sweeteners, any keto products, except for electrolytes. That's different. But I'm not going to be doing bars, not going to be doing shakes, not going to be doing, you know, anything other than just food that I make. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. So that's what I'm going to do next. for this next week, just to get a little bit of a break from the carnivore and see how things go. And then that'll finish up the month of April, and then we'll have a new challenge for the month of May. And I'm gonna figure that out this week. So that is my current plan. As far as the whole emotional thing, why carnivore and choosing this lifestyle came in clutch, it is because I had one of those super stressful weekends. And I have to give you a little backstory so you can get context and understand where I'm talking about, because it will probably make no sense to you, because obviously it's my life and, you know, but I'm trying to explain why this came in and why working on that emotional drive for the past 4 weeks really set me up for success. So the first thing that's not related to this weekend is I still haven't had any Easter candy. That's like the first time in my life I've not had Easter candy, and I'm still holding strong and I don't want it. It is a very, what's the word? It's a very foreign feeling. I don't normally feel this way, so that is huge. And, you know, and a heck yeah at the same time. And then the second thing is, so my daughters play on the same softball team. We had a game this past weekend, and we had one of those games where the coach for the other team got thrown out because they were so bad with like swearing, and it was a real bad game. I mean, thankfully our team won. We remained a class act. But it was one of those games where it's like, oh my God, is this real life? Like super stressful. What a freaking mess, right? So we won, we did great, and we were on our way to go have lunch after the game. Now, my oldest daughter always hits home runs and is, you know, normally that's like her normal, that's her normal. Well, my youngest daughter has been doing so good, and now she has been rocking it. So we were kind of more celebrating her success. After the game, as stressful and crazy as that was, right, whatever, you know, it is what it is. Let's go out to lunch. And on our way to lunch, my parents were in the car, my husband was driving, and then my kids were sitting in the back seat. And we're driving along, we hadn't even left our neighborhood yet, and something caused me to like look in the back seat, the third row. And I look back and there is smoke shooting up out of the cup holder area in the third row. If my daughter had her hands in it, I'm like, what in the world? You know, like, why is there smoke in the car in the first place? So, like, pull over. So we pull over. I get back there, and my daughter, who, I have one daughter that you need warning labels for, then the other daughter who doesn't do that stuff. Like, I have the wild child and I have like the rule follower. I've got one of each, right? The wild child gives me gray hair and makes being a mom really exciting at times. But point being, she's just inquisitive and curious. So in the back seat, there's one of those, I think it's called an auxiliary outlet. It's where you put the fat charger, like not a USB charger, but like the fatter charger back in the day that they used to use. We still have one in the back seat, and it has like a little cover you lift up and you can plug that in, right? Well, to a kid, they just see like an empty hole with a cover, and she puts her softball keychain that she literally just won into that outlet. Next, and she didn't know that those outlets get really hot really fast, and it could get out of hand really quick, and she had no idea. So she goes and retrieves it when she starts seeing smoke in the back seat and burns both of her index and thumbs. And it's like literally the shape of the chain from the keychain. That's how bad it was in both hands. So by the time I look back there, she's already burned herself, and we've got nearly flames inside the car while the car's moving. So it's like, oh my God. So anyways, we ended up having to go to the urgent care. She got 2nd-degree burns on her claws, if you will. And it was like, oh my God. So I've never even burned myself bad enough to blister, let alone have what the degree of burns that she had. And you know, little teeny tiny fingers, you know, she's a mess, she's crying, she's in pain. And so, you know, the urgent care took forever. And then, you know, it was just like one of those days that just went horrible fast. It was like a big mess. Now, mind you, The point of this story is it was like one of those days where it was super stressful, loads of anxiety, you know, something was happening after the next. It's like, what is even happening here? You know, one of those days where I easily would have given in to triggers, to stress eating, to binging. I mean, just one of those days where I would normally self-sabotage by self-soothing with food, right? Here I am, it's now dinner time. I had 3 hard-boiled eggs for breakfast, not knowing this was going to turn into a big old mess of a day. And I wasn't even like, I didn't even have that urge to, are you trying to get in on my videos? Look who's here, we have a photo bomber. It was one of those days where I did not have an emotional desire to eat. And it was like I'd made it to nearly dinner on 3 hard-boiled eggs for the day. And normally that would have never, I mean, I would have just went to town on food, comforting myself. So I'm sitting there in the urgent care and like noticing, I don't want to eat right now. I don't want to self-comfort. I don't have any desire to go do something, you know? Yes, I know, tell everybody. So, point being, had I not gone carnivore and addressed the whole emotional eating and got my brain in a better place where I feel like I'm not cured. I'll never be cured, but it's something that I now have that tool in my toolbox to just cope better, to like the noise is quieted down, and I'm not self-sabotaging, I'm not self-soothing. Like I have strength to say no, and you know, I just don't want it, it's not there. And it was just eye-opening. I mean, I could not believe how awesome that was. So the whole point of saying that is because if you don't work on that emotional side, I totally could have self-destructed this weekend. Like it would have, all of the work for the past month could have just gone out the window because I hadn't prepared myself for those times where I get really worked up. You know, when your kid's sitting there with burned fingers, you know, like she burned her little fingers really bad. Now, 2nd-degree burns, I've never been burned nearly enough to get blistered, let alone 2nd-degree burns, right? So as a mom, you know, I'm like, oh my God, my baby, you know, that kind of thing. So I feel like if you really want to work on that emotional side of your journey, please, please try. And if you were like me, who I'm an emotional eater, I'm an emotional person. I eat my feelings, I eat my stress. If you were like that, give carnivore a try. Just give it a try, you know, like see what happens. I had no idea I was gonna have this kind of success. But for the past 4 weeks, I have been coping with other things other than food. And it's because the food isn't loud and in my voice to fix things, fix by eating, you know, like it's quiet. And it allows my brain to like, okay, well, I'll just go for a walk, you know, I'll do this, I'll meditate, you know, like it's just been a crazy change of events, you know, from what I originally started this journey doing. So I know that's a long story short and all that, but I kid you not, what a change. And I feel victorious. That's a non-scale victory. So a huge one, you know, especially at this point in my journey. You know, I want to get to my goal weight. I want to fix this. I'll never be cured, but I want to have that strength to be able to help myself, right? All right, so now the fun stuff. Let's get to the weigh-in. I weighed in last week at 220, and normally I would have been terrified today to get on a scale, you know, after a weekend of stress. And I got in the scale today and 219. So I shaved off a whole nother pound effortlessly. Didn't even know it happened. Like I just lived this week, ate carnivore during the week and keto on the weekends. And man, another pound just melted off with very little effort. So that speaks volume. So, and then the next thing I want to say is I'm not affiliated in any way with Maria Emmerich. However, my mom bought a cookbook, or 2 cookbooks off of Amazon because they're older cookbooks of hers, and they were pretty old, so they were marked down. I think one of them was like 17 bucks, the other one was like, I don't know, it was less than 17 bucks. So like, what the heck, add it to the cart. when we got those, there's just pages and pages of wonderful keto recipes. So my goal for the next week is there's a book full of recipes. I'm gonna go page by page and make a recipe. Like if I don't know what to have for dinner, well, what's the next recipe coming up? That's what we're having tonight, you know, that kind of thing. So I basically, this past weekend, we made recipes from those books. And for the next upcoming week, I'm just gonna be using that as what I'm having for food, you know, very delicious, very satisfying and easy foods. So that's the goal for this week. And I have another test coming up because this next weekend is a softball tournament. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday tournament, and that means I'm not gonna be at home literally all weekend. I'm gonna have to figure out how to stay keto while in a stressful environment, while doing, you know, while I'm not at home, you know, so I've got to maybe meal plan and bring a cooler for my food. So I will be working on my best efforts to stay keto and bring everything I need so that I can stay on track through the weekend. So I'll explain all of that once the weekend happens and how I'm doing it. But it's the next test because it's something where I'm not going to have a kitchen for 3 days. I'm going to be out of the house. We'll be in a tournament, right? And we'll be there all day, so it's not like I can come home and cook something, you know. So I've got to think ahead and do my best and to stay on track. So it's the next test of this journey is, can I do it? You know, which at this point I'm pretty confident I will figure it out. But it was just an overall very emotional week, and I still had a loss on the scale. Like it's amazing to see weight loss with as not much effort as I have been putting in for the past, you know, so many months prior to this. You know, it feels good to kind of be figuring this out. So point being, I won this weekend and it feels good. So I will do my best to film my plans for this week and how I've switched over to more strict keto versus the carnivore thing, and also how I am going to be like prepping my meals and stuff for this upcoming weekend. So I wish us luck for this weekend's tournament, and I will see you at the next one. I'm Jess, you're watching Keto Rewind.